My name is Bob Marzewski, but most people probably know me as Wizard. I've been a scientist, an artist, and a teacher most of my life. If you've been going out to Burningman for a few years, you've probably seen some of my work. If you've seen a movie called Burningman Beyond Blackrock that's on Netflix these days, you may have seen me in that as well, because they followed me around in the year 2003 when I did a piece called A Place to Stand, which had a large globe on a teeter-totter where you could sort of lift up the earth and move it around. In 2004, I built a pagoda, which was a large structure. My first collaborative piece with a bunch of other people. Started with about 25 people off the playa and probably that many more volunteers on the playa. It was the first large piece that I did that burned out on the playa as well. In 2005, I did this project called Project X, which was sort of a mind game with my local community, as well as sort of a spoof on the Burningman organization itself. In 2006, I did a project called Intelligent Design, which was a fish crawling out of a pond, a crocodile, a dog, an orangutan, a human, and then a place for the participants to stand to sort of be the next step of evolution. 2007, I made a large wooden globe, about 800 pounds of scrap wood, and nailed it all together, pushed it around about 1.5 miles or so in the desert, eventually painted it like a globe, and pushed it into the base of the Mayan fire after he fell down. Called it global warming. 2008, I did a piece called The End, which was way out at the end of the playa at 12 o'clock in the perimeter fence. Unfortunately, a lot of people didn't see it because it was a large playa that year. We had expanded the perimeter. In 2011, I worked on another collaborative piece with the core group for Silicon Valley called Valley of Heart's Delight. That brings me to this year's project. I was sort of disappointed that this year's theme wasn't something like end times or apocalypse because of all the noise that you hear about the Mayan calendar. So I started doing some research and found out that there wasn't a single Mayan calendar, but actually 3 different sort of interconnected calendars. This board here sort of shows a couple of the calendars. The first one is something known as the Tzolkin Calendar, and it's based on 13 numbers in 20 days. And as you spin this wheel around, you get various combinations. 13 times 20 gives you 260 days. And so it's a 260-day cycle. And it really wasn't meant to be an astronomical calendar, but it was more like an astrological calendar or a sacred calendar where they would use it to time out various ceremonies and various celebrations that they would have throughout the year. The second calendar that was running at the same time and linked in with the first was called the Haab Calendar. And it was based on 18 months of 20 days apiece. And so when you take the 18 months times 20 days, it gives you about 360 days. And then they added an extra month. It was sort of a quiet, secret month, because you really didn't want to talk about it in good company, because it was a bad time when bad things happened. You wouldn't want to have a wedding there or plan a picnic there or anything like that. So that gave you 365 days, which was very similar to our own calendar. The third calendar they had was known as the long count. And it was basically like an odometer on your car, except the discs had different numbers of numbers on them. The first two wheels had 20 and 18 numbers on them. The next wheel had 20 numbers, the next one 20, the next one 13. When you multiply all that out, it comes out to a cycle which is 5,200 360-day years, or about 5,125 years. The Mayans sort of plopped themselves in the middle of that calendar, and if you look back at when it started about 3,114 BC as far as we can tell. And it sort of rolls back over, all the numbers reset to 0 point December 21st this year. So when you look at a Mayan temple, one of the things that you would see is on the wall, you would see all 3 of these counts. You would see a long count, you would see the Haab date, you'd also see the Tzolkin date. The structure I want to build this year is going to incorporate all 3 of these calendars. It's a large structure, about 25 feet tall. The inner ring is about 13 feet in diameter, and people will be able to run inside of it. This is going to represent the 260 days of the Tzolkin calendar. The outer ring represents the 365 days of the Haab calendar, and it's going to be labeled with the months and the days. This will also be labeled with the Tzolkin days. So as participants run inside of here, both rings are going to move, and it will count off the days, and right down here you'll be able to read what today is. In addition, it will be connected to an odometer which keeps the long count, so that as people are running in this wheel, it will spin the wheels and keep track of that 5-digit odometer setting. I hope you will consider donating to this project. Any amount will be greatly appreciated. I hope also to see some of you out running in my big tread wheel on the desert. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video.